once you have your last box checked, and you have a check in all the boxes on the left side, you can turn your paper over, put your pencil up, and come back to your square. So, do you have a check in all of your boxes? Come on, you need to make a choice and let's move. Because we will not come back to this until after we read. And actually, I'm not going to talk about which one you should choose. I want to see what you picked up from the story and what you learned. And we're just going to go back and we're going to read the same sentences again and see whether after we read if your answers change. And then once you make your checks, then we'll go back and talk about, ooh, should this have been true or should this have been false? I want to see what you pick up from the story though. So after we read, you're going to go back to your paper, you're going to make another selection, and then we'll talk about whether the statement is really true or really false. Okay? That's going to be after we read, and you make your choices. Alright, so we're going to read, I need your eyes up here, butterflies. And what kind of butterfly did we say that we're specifically reading about in here? Right, the monarch butterflies. There's many different types, but right now we really just want to focus on the monarch butterfly. Raise your hand if you can share with me what kind of book this is. Just by looking at the front cover, we can already tell what kind of book it's going to be. Kicks?
Butterfly.
It is going to be about a butterfly.
Butterfly.
Yeah, but Mary Kate, how do you know that? Very good. We know that this has to be a nonfiction book because there is a real photograph. It's not an illustration. And they don't have this butterfly dressed up in clothes and have it living in a house or doing silly things. They're going to tell us some real facts. That's when we use true and false, because whenever you're talking about real facts, then you have to answer those real facts, Walker, with, oh, that's a true statement. That's real, or that's false. Here's another clue that it's a nonfiction book. What is this? Shanala? It's not illustrations. Huh? Labels? Is that what you said? It kind of labels something. It's called the table of contents. It's labeling the different parts of the book. So that was a good try there. All right, so I'm going to automatically go to the first section of the book, and it's called On the Move. When animals travel from one region or habitat to another, it's called migration. Say migration.
Migration.
And then we're going to say when animals travel.
When animals travel
From one place.
from one place
To another.
to another.
Okay? Animals migrate in search of food or a mate. Migration helps animals survive on Earth. Many animals migrate. The monarch butterfly is one of them. So here's the monarchs, here's wildebeest, and here's red crabs. And they all are animals that migrate.
What are those for?
The tabs is to go along with our chart so that we touch on each of those sentences that we had. So that you can go back. Huh now?
I'm not crabs.
There is a lot of crabs. But I hope that you're putting in your brain right now, because that goes along with one of our sentences up there, whether that sentence was true or false. That just told you. Okay, so I'm going on to the next section of the book, and it's called Amazing Monarchs. What insect is black and orange and flies the farthest of any on Earth? Quickly walk around this way. which one do you think is black and orange and flies the farthest of any on Earth? Just tell me.
The butterfly.
But what kind?
Monarch.
The monarch butterfly. Monarch butterflies migrate 2,000 to 3,000 miles. They travel the forests of Mexico, from the United States and Canada and back every year. Since butterflies are so small, a mile is much farther for them than for people. A butterfly's 2,800-mile trip is like a person traveling 275,000 miles. That's like walking around the earth 11 times. All the way around the earth. We'd have to go all the way around the globe or our planet 11 times before we could ever measure up to how far the monarch has to travel.
How long does it have to travel?
It says that they have to travel for almost 3,000 miles.
Whoa.
I can't think of a distance.
What are those things on Earth?
This is showing you the trip around the globe. It would take 11 trips around our globe.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tell us how those can't go. Whoa.
And so then it's showing us a little bit more about their big trip. I'm showing you. So then this is a chart, kind of, and it's showing that they come from the United States, and they go down to Mexico, and then they'll go back up, and they'll go to Canada, and then sometimes some of them will migrate in over here in the western part of the world. This is the eastern part, and then this is the western part, and they'll go from, like, they'll go up towards the mountains to Canada, and then they'll come back down, up towards the mountains, up towards Canada, go through the Rocky Mountains, and then come back down. So they kind of have two different paths that they take. Or they have there's two different populations. We have some that live over here. This is called the Pacific Coast. And then we have some that migrate through the eastern. They take the eastern route of migration. So they don't all travel the same route. Let's go on to where the next section. So see, this is what I've talked about before, how sometimes we don't have to use the whole book to, we don't have to read a book like a nonfiction book from front cover to back cover. I went through and I just found the sections that we needed that was most important to us. So right here, this is talking about cold temperatures and wind and rain. It says monarchs need warm temperatures to fly. When the temperatures get too low, the monarchs will die. And if there's wind and rain, the butterflies flock to trees for shelter during high winds and rain. They cannot fly during bad weather. So are you going to see a butterfly flying when it's raining?
No.
No. It says that they have to go where? To a tree, because they use the tree as what?
Their house.
Shelter, like their house, right.
What if there's no trees around?
Oh, kids, I just don't know what they would do. That's a good question. I guess they'd have to go and find something else so that they could get under to protect their wings.
Somebody shade?
Like a snake's den, we could hide.
If they could get down in there, I don't know if they could get down in there. But that's a good option. I don't know, maybe so. Would you like to come try to sit on your square? Okay. Well, yeah, they could go under someone's shelter. Okay. Now this is going to talk about from egg to butterfly. There are 4 stages in a butterfly's life. The first stage is an egg. A mother butterfly places her eggs on a milkweed leaf. A tiny butterfly egg is the size of a pinhead. Oh, that is tiny. The size of a pinhead. And this stage lasts for 4 days. If you think about, I can get out like a safety pin in just a minute. That would be like the size of a pinhead. then that's going to be the size of what the egg would look like. So I'll show you that in just a minute. The second stage is it turns into a caterpillar. Right, so a tiny caterpillar hatches from the egg. It eats milkweed all day long. In 2 weeks, it grows from less than 1/4 inch to 2 inches long. So just in 2 weeks, it goes from this size to this size.
That's big.
Yes. It must have done what?
Eaten.
It must have eaten a lot of milkweed. Then it turns into a chrysalis.
What's a milkweed?
It's a type of plant. That's what
What's a
they're.
chrysalis?
Well, let's read and let's see if it tells us about it. No, it's not an egg anymore because that's an egg. It called it an egg there. We're on stage 3, which is a chrysalis, and it says a caterpillar creates a hard, protective coating around itself called a chrysalis. So what's a chrysalis?
A hard shell.
Like a shell, exactly. Think of like a turtle with a hard shell on its back. It might not be as hard as that, but a chrysalis is just they make a hard shell around their body.
That's a leaf.
It does kind of look like a leaf, but it's the chrysalis. It's the hard shell that they have made. From outside, it appears that nothing is happening, but inside, the caterpillar is transforming into a
Butterfly.
This stage lasts about 10 days. So it shows you there's its chrysalis after 10 days, and then its head comes out first, and its wings are small and they're all crumbled up, and then the monarch, it pumps liquid through its veins and its wings to enlarge them. So it has something in its body that it makes its wings get bigger, and then finally right here, the butterfly's veins stiffen, and about 1 hour after it comes out of the chrysalis, the monarch is ready to fly.
Butterfly when it's in there.
It's just something that happens. It's something that we can't explain.
But some butterflies look like mouse.
Hello. Hey. Oh no, really? Oh. Okay. Okay, thanks. Bye. Alright, so whenever it comes out of the chrysalis, can it just start flying right away?
No.
How long did it say it takes before it can fly?
1 hour.
1 hour, right.
If they turn into monarch, what do you call it?
Monarch.
Monarch butterflies, then the caterpillar must be called a monarch caterpillar.
Some butterflies.
They all just kind of start out as a caterpillar. So even if it becomes a different kind of butterfly than a monarch, they're all going to go through the stage of being a caterpillar.
Is some butterfly camouflage?
Yes, some butterflies do need to be camouflaged. You're right, because that was one section that we didn't really touch on today. But in this book, it talks about that they have predators. And predators are animals that or insects that try to what?
Like
birds.
Eat
Bite.
them.
Eat what?
The
What?
butterfly.
And how?
And so it has to protect itself different ways.
What is that?
We'll come back and this.
Fiber.
We'll come back and we'll read this later. I just want us to stick to our chart so that we don't get too much stuff in there and get confused, and then we'll come back. Okay, we're right here. And the last thing that we need to talk about is munching monarchs. When monarchs are in the caterpillar stage, they only eat certain type of plant. A milkweed, just leave them down there. It's okay, just leave them down there. They only eat milkweed plants, and they eat a lot of it. You're not on your screen because Hunter can't hardly see. Adult monarchs eat the sweet nectar from many different flowering plants, including milkweed. The nectar gives the butterflies energy to fly. So when it's okay. So whenever they are the caterpillar, what do they eat?
Nectar.
Not nectar.